Hi Foundation, welcome to our last science lesson of the term. Now we have a pretty easy lesson for you today. I didn't want to make you guys work too hard on your last week, but we do have some interesting things to learn. So you will still need to pay attention. Now on the screen I have the last week's activity here, this week 10, okay? And you should have a bunch of pictures here, okay? And these pictures here all give you clues of what today's lesson's about. It's all about really serious or extreme weather, okay? Obviously, most of the weather we experience is just normal weather. Sunny days, partly cloudy days, rainy days, things like that. But in some times, in some places in the world, there can be really extreme or even dangerous weather. Now, it doesn't happen in Portland, but it's still interesting to learn about. So we're going to go through and we're going to learn what these different types of weather are and give them their proper science names, okay? So that you guys can write them down and remember what they are. Okay, so I'm going to write the answers for you guys here so you guys can copy me as we go. All right, now, this first one here, this is a picture of a tornado, okay? Sometimes tornadoes are called twisters, all right? Now, I've got a video of one of these that I'm going to show you, but basically they are basically big funnels of air washing around really, really fast that go from the ground all the way up to the clouds, okay? So I'm going to write the name of it here, okay? Tornado. Okay, now you guys can write the name in your booklet as well. And just remember that while I'm using a computer to type this, this here is a computer A. Okay, the computers do funny letter A's. So you just do a regular A for you guys. Okay, tornado. Okay, now let's have a little look at a video on a tornado. We're not going to watch the whole thing, so I've just got some clips for you. Okay, here's one. You can see it's right down on the ground here, all the way up into the sky. Let's have a look.
Tornadoes are powerful, spinning columns of air that stretch from the ground to the clouds. Most are relatively weak, but the few that grow into large events are extremely violent and cause immense destruction. Tornadoes occur on 6 of the 7 continents.
Okay. You can see there that there's actually a big difference between the smaller ones that were here, these little small ones, and then some of the really large ones that showed up like this here, far away there, that can be really dangerous. Okay, let's keep looking. I'm just going to change one of my settings here. Yeah, we'll try that.
Based on land size is the United Kingdom, with an average of about 30 supercell tornadoes, which form within supercells, the most powerful class of thunderstorms, or non-supercell tornadoes, which are smaller and weaker and form within non-supercell storms. There are many theories surrounding the formation of tornadoes.
Okay, we're not going to go into all the different learning about tornadoes, but you can see that they definitely are pretty interesting, and you've probably and you've never seen one around Portland, that's for sure. Okay, now tornadoes, most of them are not that serious. Okay, most of them are quite harmless and just windy, but every now and then, especially in countries like America, they can get really big and dangerous ones, and you could see some of the damage caused by a really big tornado in America. But luckily, we don't get that here in Australia. But it's very interesting. Okay, so that's tornado. All right, the next one here, you can see these trees are all getting blown really hard to the side. This is actually a picture of a cyclone. Okay, now the cyclone here is a really giant windy storm. Okay, so I'm going to write a cyclone here and you guys can copy me. Okay, cyclone. There we go. So you guys write cyclone down, and let's have a look at some clips of inside a cyclone. Let's have a look. Okay, this was actually just a stationary camera or someone had put up to record while a cyclone was going by. Let's have a look. You can see how windy it is. Look at the trees. They're really, really blowing like crazy. Really, really extreme. Like, yeah. Now, cyclones like this, these do occur mostly over water and the ocean. This usually is where they start, but sometimes they do come across and hit land. And this is one that has reached the land. Now, once again, we don't get them in Portland, but they do reach places such as Queensland occasionally. And I remember my brother some time ago when he was up there, they had to make sure their windows, they had to put boards over their windows so nothing that was flying through the air could break their windows and things like that. So they took all steps to keep safe. And fortunately in Australia, our houses are very strong, so we don't have to really be too concerned. But in countries and poorer countries where their houses are not as strong as Australia's, that can be a real problem for them. Okay, and one interesting thing is while these cyclones are, they're so strong and so windy and so big, they're actually so big that you can see them from space. And I've got a picture of here of a cyclone forming over the ocean. So this is high up from space and it's a giant twirly cloud. Okay, and you can see that in the middle of the cyclone there is the eye of the storm. This part here is actually quite calm, that little bit in there, but then it gets really windy all the way around it, all twisting and very windy. Okay, so yeah, there is a cyclone. Okay, next up we have a flood. Okay, now a flood, while not directly a weather condition, it's obviously going to come from large amounts of rain. Okay? So when we get rain, obviously that's normal. It just washes down the drains and, or washes down the gutters, no drama. But sometimes we have heaps and heaps and heaps of rain to the point that it can cause a flood. Okay? So you can see this picture here is actually some people on the roof of their house waiting to be rescued. And once again, actually, one of my other brothers who was in the military at the last floods up in North Queensland, they were in the helicopters in the army and they'd drop food off to these people who needed them or go in and pick them up and take them to hospitals and things like that, just places where they were safe. Okay, so floods are something that occurs as well. I've also got some footage of a flood, and I thought I'd actually show you guys some footage of when I was in Queensland. There was a flood there. It was actually quite a severe flood through the Lockyer Valley, but I was a little bit further away. So when the flood came, me and my family, we got trapped in our house, but our house didn't flood. It was just the road that got flooded over. So we couldn't get out. So we had to stay in our house, which was nice and dry, but we couldn't drive out of our street because the street was flooded. And here, this video here, I'll open it up. You can see the street flooded, so we couldn't get out. Okay, so there we go, I'll plug there. I'm standing, this is me actually filming here, and you can see there's a 1 meter mark that's underwater there. So you wouldn't be able to drive your car over that that bridge because it would get washed away. So I'm just standing here filming, and then I probably went back home afterwards to watch some more TV or something. So it was pretty interesting, but it wasn't dangerous for me because I was up on the hill, so it was okay. However, not everybody was so lucky, and you can see some of the other pictures I took. Parts of the town were really flooded. Okay, I was up on the hill, so it was okay. And Well, you can probably see, got quite a few pictures here. Ah, yep. See, there I am. And that's actually Amelia. Some of you guys might know her in grade 4. She was only a baby at the time. Okay. Uh, so floods are also quite interesting and sometimes quite dangerous. Once again, we don't get any floods down here in Portland, but some of the people's houses in Toowoomba and Lockyer Valley, where I had used to live, they did get washed away, and their houses they had to build new ones. So there, that was that was a long time ago now. All right, let's have a look at something else. Okay, after flood, the next one we have is a drought. Okay. Now, this funny word, drought, is also related to the weather in the sense that it's what happens when there is no rainfall. Okay? Like you guys might know, sometimes we don't have any rain for a while. But what happens if we don't get any rain that whole week or that whole month or the whole year it doesn't rain? Okay, when it gets to the point, if you're very unlucky and you get no rain for a very, very long time, you get what you call a drought. A drought is when there just hasn't been enough rain, so there hasn't been enough fresh water. Okay? Now, I've got some little shots here. Okay. Now you can see here is actually some boys playing in what used to be an old lake. Okay, but you can see the ground is all crackly now because the water's all dried up. There's no more rain. Okay, and that can be really dangerous, especially for not really to humans because we can just go to the shop and buy some water that's brought in from somewhere else. But it's mostly dangerous for animals. Okay, because animals need to get water from the river or from the lake, and if it's dried up, then they don't have any water. Okay. In fact, here you go, see another area with drought. An animal has died there. In some places in around Australia, we get quite a lot of drought in Australia. That happens quite a lot. And not that long ago, we actually did an activity at school where we all brought in food and things for the farmers whose farms had all dried up. And so they needed help. And so a lot of people all around the country donated to help look after the farmers who had run out of water for their animals. So it was a difficult time for many of them. So drought is something that, while not really dangerous to us, is still quite severe and extreme. Can be quite nasty. All right, I've only got one more to go. Now this last one I put in here is actually what we'd call, well, it's got a few names. We'll call it a lightning storm. Okay. Now you could also might have heard it called just a thunderstorm or an electrical storm. Okay. And really what this is just a storm that has a lot of lightning or a lot of electrical activity going. Okay. Now we occasionally will get thunderstorms or lightning storms in Portland, but not very much. I'm sure some of you guys remember hearing them, and you might have even had a bit of trouble sleeping because the thunder was pretty loud. But it doesn't happen that much down here in Portland, so we're pretty lucky in that way. Other places have it happen way more than we do. And I found this little video of someone recording a thunderstorm. Well, a thunderstorm with a lot of lightning from their car, and you can see sometimes there can be lots and lots of lightning.
This is real time.
This
I'm
is
not
all
time-lapsing this.
just
This is
constant
a
lightning
thunderstorm.
throughout the
I'll pan
sky.
camera so that you can see.
Okay,
But that is real time.
constant lightning. Now I'm just going to turn the volume down a bit there. Interestingly enough, these electrical storms aren't really too dangerous to humans because we would just go inside our house where we're safe, or even in your car, you're safe. Obviously, if there was a lightning storm, you wouldn't want to be playing outside or going for a swim. if there was a lightning storm, we go inside our house or our car or a shop or something, and we're safe there. So they're not really too dangerous for humans, okay? Not really too dangerous for us, okay? But they can be very, very interesting to watch. Now, obviously, the thing about lightning storms that probably lots of people find the most scary is not actually the lightning, but the sound, the thunder. Okay, when lightning strikes, the lightning itself doesn't make any noise, but then the thunder comes later. Okay, and then that's big boom and rumble that can be very loud, or that loud crack if it's really close by. Okay, and that's the bit that sometimes kids find scary, even though it doesn't actually hurt us. Okay, so that's actually caused by when the lightning strikes the ground. Lightning is really, really hot. Okay, so it actually makes the air very, very hot as well. For those of you who are interested, we learned about temperature. Like boiling water is 100 degrees. So when water's boiling, it's at 100 degrees. Lightning gets up to about 30,000 degrees, which is as hot as the surface of the sun. So it's really, really hot. In fact, it's so hot that it makes the air around the lightning bolt sort of whoosh away, get really hot and whoosh away. And it whooshes away so quickly that that creates the sound of the thunder. Okay, like a bit of a sonic boom. Yeah, so thunder doesn't hurt us, but it can give us a bit of a fright sometimes. But yeah, pretty interesting. All right, boys and girls. Well, that's actually all the different types of extreme weather phenomenons that I wanted to show you guys. So make sure you pause the screen and write down your answers. You can copy mine, okay? And if you have any questions, I'm going to see you guys next term. I'll definitely be able to talk to you guys lots more about this stuff next term. But if you have any other questions, please ask your teacher, your parent, or get them even to send me an email, and I can do my best to answer. All right, thank you guys. I hope you thought this was pretty interesting. You might want to share with someone at home or at school about some extreme weather that you might have seen. Okay, even though we don't really get it in Portland, you might have heard of something or seen something. Okay. All right, boys and girls, have a great week and an even better holiday. All right, I will see you guys next time. Bye.